Hey, vinyl community, how we doing out there? Adam here from The Freight. I wanted to take a few minutes and make a video about mobile fidelity and fidelity record pressing, the new plant, which I think is really great. But I also wanted to give you the reasons why that are sort of informing me as a consumer of why I think it's really great, the pressing plant in particular. When I think about mobile fidelity, and sort of quote unquote audiophile record labels like that, acoustic sounds, craft record, all those things. You're expecting quality. You're paying 40, 50, 60 UHQRs or one steps, $100 plus. The quality needs to be there. My experience with mobile fidelity is up and down. And of those audiophile labels, it's probably the most inconsistent that I've experienced personally, just me. And this does not have to do with the MoFi gate. This has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about just as a label in particular. I think there are lots of great records that have digital steps in them that sound wonderful, and I'll get to talking about that. I don't think that's the only problem. Let me explain a little bit. I'm going to give you with a couple of examples. Two records that are not in my collection anymore that I got over the last, probably 5 years. Two in particular come to mind, mobile fidelity titles that completely underwhelmed me and that my original copies beat. The Cars, self-titled, and Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. Two records that I love. Two records that I would listen to regularly, that I know the music very well, that mean a lot to me, that whatever. The music is just wonderful music that I enjoy listening to. So, you buy the audiophile mobile fidelity pressing, and these are from like the mid, 2015, 16, 17, 18 on forward. The Bob Dylan might be a little more recent, but anyway, my point is they were, let me talk about the Cars one first. The Cars self-titled, in my opinion, on my system, to me, which is my system is not a crazy insane system, but it's a good enough system, right? Let's get that out of the way. It's a fine system, and I've upgraded it quite a bit over the years. And the Cars self-titled was so flat, in my opinion. The bass was non-existent. The original first press that I have absolutely killed it. And that's a good sounding record as it is. So I was expecting, okay, let's see what mobile fidelity can do for this. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. It was flat. And the soundstage was nice, and it was separated, and it was big and quiet vinyl. Well, that's definitely one thing you can say for mobile fidelity is the quiet vinyl, which is great. But yeah, it was flat. And I didn't like it, and that was a disappointment. I've since sold it. Blood on the Tracks, same thing. It was just a little flat. It was just like not as good as my original first pressing. The first pressing I had was better. I A-B'd it, and the Blood on the Tracks first pressing beat it pretty significantly. I actually even called in my 9-year-old daughter, and I'm like, all right, I want you to sit down. I want you to listen to this, because in my mind it was like you could hear the difference, and I'm like, all right, let's see if she can hear it. And she absolutely picked the original pressing over the mobile fidelity. It just sounded lifted. It had more life. It had more space. It had more dynamics. Why I'm starting with kind of the negative, let me explain, is because I think that mobile fidelity is really headed in a great direction right now with Fidelity record pressing plants behind it. I think this pressing plant is a game changer for them. I really do. I think they are showing everything, all the potential that mobile fidelity mastering and techniques have to offer, because since they've started pressing records at Fidelity Record Plant, the new one in California that they've started pressing records at this year, I think they're significantly better. And I'm going to give you some examples of ones that I think are better. Before I do, I just have one other concrete example of a Fidelity record pressing and a older pressing that was not pressed at Fidelity. Okay, so this one was not pressed at Fidelity, and I think it lacks life. It has decent space and it sounds fine, but it just doesn't have the life that this record should have. It really doesn't. I know we're talking about two different sort of time, not genres, but yeah, genres, but like two different timepieces of jazz, where this is more fusion and this is, you know, more bop. But we're talking about sound quality and life. This is the Jack Johnson. I think this is one of the first ones they pressed at Fidelity this year. This is awesome. This is really great. And it has life and it has dynamics. And this is fantastic. So much more life than this. This is just kind of flat, in my opinion. So now I'm going to talk about some really good ones. Especially, these are ones that came out and were pressed this year. Actually, no. So first, this first one was not. This was actually from a couple years ago. Sounds really great. Bill Withers' greatest hits. Mike from the In-Groove has talked about this. He's absolutely right in my opinion on this. This is really fantastic. Good low end, good dynamics, soundstage, quiet vinyl, the whole nine on this. Really great. And this is from a few years back before Fidelity. So it goes back to that consistency thing that I'm talking about. This one sounds really good. The other ones that I'm mentioning, not so much. But let me go on to some really great ones that have pressed at Fidelity this year. So this, I think, has always sounded good. I got this on a repress that came this year, so I know that mine was pressed at Fidelity. However, I know other versions of this from years past were not pressed at Fidelity and still sound great, according to lots of reviews that I've heard. This record is wonderful, really. I can't recommend this enough. If you want to hear a great way to hear this record, this is beautiful. The dynamics, the soundstage on this is huge. Great low end. Wonderful pressing, and this is from Fidelity record pressing plants as well. Obviously, they've been doing this consistent Santana release. I have 3 of them. I have, I did get the Abraxas 33. I also got the Love, Devotion, Surrender, and Caravanserai. So these 3 Santana pressings from Fidelity this year, they're doing like a consistent Santana release. Holy smokes, are these wonderful. I mean, really, really freaking wonderful. I want to say they're like $40 a piece, and these are worth it. These soundstage is incredible. The music separation is incredible. The tone is incredible. The soundstage, really wild. Fantastic listens. And they have, I think they might be doing the whole catalog because they've been consistently doing Santana records. Santana records were, I think, notoriously recorded really well, and they sound excellent as they were. These are great. I did a B Caravanserai and Love, Devotion. Actually, all 3 of these I had original pressings of, and these beat the original pressings, in my opinion. All 3 of these did, and they were great. And so I can't say enough about these pressings from this year. So, there's the great, all right? Now I want to talk about, in my opinion, the worst of 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 the worst. Okay? This is a record that I love very much. I have probably the most pressings of this as anything except Beatles records. But of any other record, this is probably the one that I've sought out the most because I really love it, and I know that the potential for it to sound amazing is there. I just haven't quite found it yet. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Just a wonderful, amazing record from beginning to end. Just a absolute classic, fantastic record. Okay, this pressing I want to say is from about 2016, 17, roughly around there. I paid up for this on Discogs. I paid around $100 for it, $90+ anyway, on Discogs. The cymbal distortion on this is an absolute joke. I cannot believe that this was allowed to leave a pressing plant. It's horrible. The first song, Gone Hollywood, right? If you're familiar with the song, it's a dynamic song. It changes a lot. It's got some, an interlude that comes in, and then it comes back in after the interlude with like this really big cymbals, right? China cymbals that are like a lot of high end. One of the knocks on this recording, you'll hear it all over the reviews, and everyone knows best on the internet. That's just the way it was recorded. There's lots of high end. No. Is there a lot of high end on the record? Yeah, absolutely there is. But it's not like this. Sounds like someone is digitally ripping apart a cymbal. It's like distorted like you would not believe, clipped like you would not believe. I have original first pressings of this US. Does not sound like that. Is there a lot of high end? Yes. Does it borderline on a little bit of sort of like sounds like in a groove distortion? Yes. But it's nowhere near this. This is an absolute joke. And what's wild is you put this record on and it starts out and it's like, oh, this is good. This is going to be nice. It's got an awesome sound stage, good depth from low to high, and I was excited about it. And then coming out of that interlude, the first song, sure enough, absolute horseshit. Sounds, can't even believe that this would come out of a pressing plant. So now I've heard, I bought this on Mike from the In-Groove's recommendation, who I absolutely trust. And I absolutely do trust that his version of this, his copy of this that he has listened to, doesn't have what this has. So it must be something to do with my specific pressing of this. But I am telling you, like, you can't believe what you hear on this. I posted a question in a Facebook group about this particular record, and did other people get it? Did the same distortion? And some people said yes, that they did, and it was ridiculous and unacceptable. But other people were like, no, it's just the way it was recorded. Does it push it at times? Yes, but it's not that bad. So, I don't know. I got to believe that maybe I just have a bad copy, but seemingly I'm not the only one. Like, maybe some people are just accepting it. I don't really know, but there's no way Mike from the In-Groove, his copy is like this. There's no way, not a chance. So I do believe that this is probably more unique to my copy. I have a pressing number that's like 13,700 or something, and I want to say they did 15,000, so maybe it's because I have a later pressing, but then the numbers don't really have anything to do with the record inside, so I don't know. That probably doesn't hold any water either. I don't really know. What I do know is this sounds horrible, and for audiophile, quote-unquote, record label like Mobile Fidelity, this is unacceptable. And so the consistency over the past 10, 15, 20 years of MoFi is what I have issue with. And this, is, to me, is the prime example. If you have this record, will you please let me know if your copy has it, the distortion, the cymbal distortion. I don't want to say that the rest of the recording sounds bad, because it doesn't. But the cymbal distortion throughout certain portions of this it's not acceptable. And so I'm dying to know if others have this exact experience, or if their copy just doesn't have it. Whatever, I'm curious. So let me know on this one. But to me, my copy is absolutely horrible and like unacceptable. Okay, so that aside, I talked about the really great, what I consider really great pressings from this year coming out of Fidelity record pressing plants, working with Mobile Fidelity. I think that pressing plant is making all the difference in the world for them. I think it is taking what Mobile Fidelity is supposed to be and like doing what RTI and Quality Records does for, chat over at Acoustic Sounds. I think Fidelity Record Pressing Plants is doing that. And I think they're gonna do that for MoFi. I think that, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have options, in my opinion. I love being able to get these awesome sounding Santana records. I love that. I'm really stoked on that. So I will obviously continue to buy MoFi, because I think they're going to be really up and coming not up and coming. They've been around for decades. But I mean, like, the consistency, I think, is going to be more consistently great. That's my hope. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have noticed a difference since they started pressing records at Fidelity Record Pressing Plants this year. I see a difference. I hear a difference. More life. The vinyl super quiet. More soundstage, more depth, more low end, which I think was a huge problem for Mobile Fidelity pressings in my experience. Rarely enough low end. But I don't have that with these pressings. Also, as a side note, my band, The Freight, we're putting out our first full-length LP, and we are pressing vinyl with it. Should be out early 2025. We're looking to get it mastered by Ryan Smith, which I'm super excited about. And then we're going to send it to Fidelity to get pressed. which we are super excited about because, again, the consistency and the quality seems to be there. The pricing is reasonable when it comes to American pressing plants with that kind of quality. It's still crazy expensive to press vinyl, but we're doing it, and that's been going to be our choice going forward. So we're super excited to use Fidelity, and we'll let you know how it turns out. Maybe you want to pick up a copy when it comes out, and be a judge for yourself. But other than that, please let me know what you think of Mobile Fidelity, that super tramp pressing. I think that wonderful things are in store for us as consumers with Mobile Fidelity, because I think that the pressing plant is pushing it that much forward, and in my mind, that's a good thing. So yeah, let me know what you think, and please like and subscribe. If you made it this far, you might like what I'm doing, so I plan on doing more videos. Check it out, like and subscribe, support me and the page. It's much appreciated, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. All right, see you soon. Peace.